Welcome to the AA Sports Podcast, minor league feel with major league discussion. Here are your hosts, Alan and Alan.
What is up, everyone?
What's up, everybody?
Welcome to the AA Sports Podcast. We are your hosts, Alan and Alan. So we have originally this episode we were going to talk about our outfielders' top 10s and some news, but there's so much news that happened this week, we cannot talk about our top 10 until next episode.
Right. We got to get a whole episode in on what's going on, what's currently happening in the league.
Because baseball is back. Pitchers and catchers have reported. I know at least the Mets' full first practice is tomorrow with the rest of the staff, so other teams are starting the next couple of days. So welcome back, baseball.
All right. So the first thing we want to talk about, we want to touch base on this Mookie Betts trade.
Yeah. Of course, last week we did it as breaking news, and since then it got a little snag.
Yeah, we got a little snag in the thing, and they had to revisit it. I guess the owners of the Red Sox felt like they were getting the wrong end of that deal.
Yeah, first it came out that, the firearm that they were getting from the Twins was not starter material, but apparently the Twins viewed them as a bullpen arm the whole time, so don't know where that got confused. So it got held up, and Twins pulled out. So the Dodgers and Red Sox had to rework the deal where it's just them got it done, and they got it done. It's been official now.
Right. So it looks like Betts and David Price and cash were traded for Alex Verdugo, Jeter Downs, and Connor Wong.
Yeah. They still got Alex, which is the main piece. They were almost, he's replacing Mookie. They feel like he has the talent, and I really hope he produces quick, or that town might be a little bitter with him because they got to replace Mookie. The other one's a catcher prospect, which they'll eventually need with them. So, and then the other guy's probably another throw in to offset the money and stuff.
Right.
Because originally Red Sox were only getting 2 players from the deal.
Yeah.
And I think it was a player to be named later or something, but still 2 players from Mookie Betts.
Well, how do you feel? Who do you think got the better end of the deal?
Now with and then also with now Dodgers getting that arm that Red Sox were going to get from the Twins. So Maeda still got traded, but they also got it back. The guy they traded a couple years ago for the Mendoza trade, Luke Riley, he's the outfield prospect. He's been in AAA last year, and they see him back in the organization that they drafted. But that arm that they got back from the Twins, he has potential to make that bullpen even better now, the way he showed up the last part of the season in the postseason.
Yeah, so that trade, Kenta, Maeda, and Jared Camargo and cash were traded from the Dodgers for Brusdar, I'm going to ruin the name, Brusdar, Gratero, Luca Raley, and a competitive balance B pick from the Twins.
And the pick's not bad. It's the 67th pick.
Yeah, that's not bad at all. Absolutely.
So,
but Kenta Maeda is a pretty good player, so I
get
it.
He was possibly their third rotation guy. Price is going to be that third rotation guy. He was the bullpen last year, which they got a bullpen guy for the Twins, so it offset everything. And they got a prospect back that they liked. That when they traded for Brian Dozier, they got him back, and they're getting a draft pick. So ultimately, they're getting Price for half the deal because they got half the cash from Red Sox.
Okay.
They're getting their center fielder for 1 year, but this is possibly one of the better center fielders out there added to this Dodgers team that could have went to their, third straight World Series if it wasn't for the Nationals beating them in Game 5. Who knows what would happen with this team now?
I agree. And the Dodgers are still making more moves other than that. They just extended Max Muncy 3 years for $26 million. You think that's a pretty good deal?
Yeah. With that deal, it's a pretty good deal because it covers his whole arbitration timeline plus 1 year into the regular season. So pretty much what he's going to be making this year is just $1 million.
Wow.
So that's probably what he got in arbitration this year. So, okay. Next year he's getting $7.5 million and then $11.5 million in 2022.
Okay.
And then they have a option for his first year would have been his free agency year at $13 million. But if he finishes in the MVP vote a certain amount, he gets extra money in that option year. So if any of those next 3 years, if he finished in the top 5, he gets an extra $1 million for each year for the option year. If he finishes,
that's a lot to break down.
6th through 10th, he gets $500,000, and if he's 11th through 20th position, he gets $250,000 added to the option year.
Okay.
So ultimately, if he finishes, say, top 5 each of those 3 years,
top 5 in MVP voting.
Yep.
That's pretty tough, man.
I'm just saying if he does, his option goes up to $16 million for that final year.
Obviously, he thinks he can do it, or else that wouldn't even been in the contract, right?
It's not a bad deal if you think overall. Like it's like some of these players are getting signed the deals, like Acuna and them are signed the deal where they're getting more now, but it's also cheaper at the end because, like, look at Mookie Betts, for example. His last year arbitration, he's getting $27 million.
That's not bad. That's not bad at all.
So for his last year, his deal, he's going to get $11 million. So how much money you're saving for the organization, you're getting extra right now. It depends on the player if they want to be greedy or not. But in the long run, they're still getting a little more now because most players, you're getting like what I think 750,000.
750,000, yeah.
About for your first arbitration, then you get to $1 million, a couple million. So it works out for him.
Okay.
So with that one, there was also another trade that now it's not going to happen.
It's not happening.
Jock is not going to the Angels.
That sucks.
Apparently, because the whole debacle with the first trade, Angels didn't want to wait around because they don't know if it was going to happen or not. They just said, we're done. Dodgers still not said they're going to keep him yet. They still might be exploring that trade now.
Okay. Well, so I'm upset because I felt like, man, Jock would have been a great addition to the Angels outfield. But now that he's still on the Dodgers and the Dodgers lineup, the way it looks currently is pretty impressive. If they were to trade Jock away, do you think, since they're so stacked in the lineup, would they trade for either prospects or maybe pitchers?
I don't know. They still have a really good farm system. That's the thing with the Dodgers. Like, even though they spent all this money, got traded these players, they still have a top 10 farm system. So I don't know exactly what they need. Like, they just got another bullpen arm, so solidify that bullpen that was already good last year.
So why not keep him? Why get rid of Jock?
I don't know. Like, you just won arbitration where he didn't get the money that he wanted. Y'all had to settle because that's what you wanted. Y'all won the court case. So maybe he's not happy. Maybe that's why. But we haven't heard it said that he wanted to be traded. He just thought what he should have been paid for.
Well, he might not have been happy, but on the team that he's currently on, who has a real chance of winning a World Series, he might change his attitude.
Exactly. Like, to ultimately where he's going to have to play left field. I'm sorry. If I'm looking across the field and I have Mookie Betts and then the reigning MVP and Bellinger in right field.
Great company.
Like, ultimately, if even switch up, you can put like Chris Taylor or the other guy platoon third base. You can put Jock at first base, move Max Muncy to second base.
There's a lot you can do. I mean, yeah, you're right.
Roberts has so much options with his lineup. I don't know what he's going to do if this team stays together.
I feel like if they stay together, it'd be great to watch. Great baseball. Definitely competitive. I mean, they're going to be competitive either way.
Yeah.
I just feel like keeping Jock on the team is just that extra step.
Like, I understood the trade. Like, you had too many options. You like Chris and they got to platoon left field. Like, okay, get a prospect infielder. Like, okay, that's fine. But now you have the potential to keep him. Like,
right.
What I would probably do is hold on to him, wait till the All-Star break. If you need like that pitcher or someone, and he's like, okay, you could easily replace him. He could be that trade piece to get that bullpen or that arm or someone else that you need.
Right, but I mean, you never know how it's going to look by the time we hit that break. I mean, what if he's killing it and somebody else is, and they might decide, hey, we're going to get rid of somebody else.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, the biggest takeaway is that the Angels have been trying to build a team. They just got Rendon. Ohtani's healthy. Trout needs some more pieces to the puzzle, and it just didn't happen. So I feel bad for Angels fans.
Yeah, and when you get Madden as your coach, you're not going to lay around and wait. Like, this is that win-now atmosphere, especially with Trout signing that contract, and now Rendon paying him. It's time is now.
Right, and as a fan of baseball, I want to see Trout in playoff ball. I'm tired of waiting. What's up?
It's sad that career, and you talk about this is like the greatest player of all time, possibly, especially what we're watching, and he hasn't played a game of postseason baseball in his career yet.
It's nuts, man. It's nuts.
Especially you're still playing pool holes all that money.
Well, there's nothing you can do about that. That's how I feel strongly about those kind of big contracts when they're getting kind of older, especially now that you pay Giancarlo Stanton and what he did last year, wasted your time. Yeah. So, all right, well, hey.
Yeah, we'll see what happens with them and see if maybe Angels regret it or see if Dodgers benefit from it.
All right, so I want to move on to a different topic. This topic was brought up recently. Even President Trump tweeted about it. And the topic is, should Pete Rose be in the Hall of Fame?
I think it's absolutely yes.
Especially given the circumstances of what's been going on with this cheating scandal, which I feel is way worse than what Pete did.
Okay, I understand that, yes, betting on baseball is bad, but when you bet on your team, and not like he was...
That's confidence.
It's not like he was like, okay, let's shave runs, like I'm not going to bring this bullpen. He was just expecting his team to win.
Right. It's not like he was tanking the team and trying to lose on purpose. He was betting for his team to win.
And when you have the all-time hits leader, like, not be able to be in the Hall of Fame, like, you got to tell your kids, like, oh, this is the greatest hitter of all time. Where's he at in the Hall of Fame? Oh, he's not there.
Exactly.
It's depriving the kids that knowing the knowledge of this great guy. Unfortunately, he's not in the Hall of Fame because he betted on his team to win baseball games.
Yeah, I vote. Let Pete in.
I think it's time. Honestly, he's been out long enough. His punishment, yes, it's bad for betting on your game, but it's his team. Like, I think next year it's time.
Right, and Alan can tell you, I'm always a stickler against people who are cheating, steroids, anything like that. I'm always on that side of like, hey, don't let him in. But for Pete, this is crazy. This guy needs to be in the Hall of Fame. Yeah,
it's time. It's time to let the man in. Like, he's been out long enough, like he's finally at the Reds game a couple years ago. Like, he's slowly coming back in. It's time. It's been long enough. He's done the punishment. Let him, because I don't want him to get in after he passes away.
Me either. I want him to enjoy this. He should be in, and he should know that he's in.
Because he is one of the better players of all time, and he needs to be in there with all of them. It's time, people. Let's make it happen. So there's another, Red Sox finally did decide.
Yep. They got Roennke.
So, but the thing is, it's an intern tag.
Exactly.
But what people are hearing, it's an intern tag because they're waiting on the allegations to come out from baseball about the sign scandals with the Red Sox. If he's found nothing involved, he might be, the intern tag be pulled away, but most likely he'll still be the manager for this year.
Right, this year, and then also I think they want to see what the guy's got. If he shows enough promise, they might extend him.
He's the safer bet for them. He's older, and I think the GM wants a full off season to do his research because it's limited. It's
right.
People already there. Like, I don't want to. Like, a lot of people probably turn down interviewing for the job because they're already in baseball, like already at spring training, gearing up. Like, I don't want to miss a day of get my team ready. Sorry, I don't want to interview. It could have been that. So now, like, here's your safe bet. He's been a manager before. He's old school. He could probably right the ship if he's found nothing wrong because he was the bench coach in 2018.
Yep.
So if nothing said about him, but apparently the allegations are less than the Astros, but still there's something. So we'll see in hopefully a week or two, they're saying, before opening day. So we'll see when that actually happens. But if he's found not guilty, then they'll pull the tag off and he'll be the manager for at least this year.
Right. I hope they settle this soon because, at this time of the year, you just need to let this go behind you and move forward and focus on this season.
And it's kind of sad, like, baseball's back. People are reporting, and mostly what you hear now is this cheating scandal, asking players. Like, I've watched a couple of the Mets interviews because they've been doing the press conferences and stuff. And what'd you think? Oh, I didn't really pay too much attention to it. That's all they kept getting asked. Every player I've watched today. And it's like, people are getting annoyed. Even broadcasters, they don't want to talk about it no more because it's been all off season. But now there's more and more coming out. So it's kind of, you got to talk about.
That's true.
So we'll see what he does. And the biggest thing with this scandal is AJ Hinch actually did an interview with the MLB Network.
Yep.
It was at his home. So the report is he talked about it. He busted 2 TVs with a bat. He said it. Some people said it was because they relayed the wrong sign and the person messed up. Some people said he just didn't like it. He figured the players would know that, this is something I'm not fond of. But apparently players said if he would just came out and said it, they would have stopped. I don't know.
Well, if he broke 2 TVs, that should have said it alone.
Yeah.
But at the same time, he knew that it was going on this whole time. He could have stepped in and said, "No, we're not doing this. Don't let the players take over your team."
Yeah, I understand because it's pretty much the same monitor that is used for replays for do you want to challenge this player or not? So that's why it's there. Baseball didn't think nothing of it, but they found a system. But yeah, so the biggest question from there's 2 of them that he was asked and then he was answered. Of course, the clear was the title tainted. This is what he said.
Okay.
It's a fair question. I think everyone's going to have to draw their own conclusions. I hope over time and the demonstration of talent of this team and players and the careers that they are being had, We had some of the best players in the entire sports all together on the same team. I hope over time it's proven that it wasn't, but I understand that question.
Well, I'm going to tell you right now, that title was definitely tainted. And I can't wait till we get into this. This is nuts.
It's going to be a very interesting year. I want to see what this team does, because
I want to see if they're even going to make the playoffs.
Yeah.
I can't get over this.
Because in that division, there isn't, like, the Angels, possibly. That's why it really helped with Jock being there. Like, that could be a competition. And then other than that, I don't know if anyone else in that division, maybe the Texas, they have some young talent. And then another question that I took from it, it was, how much of an advantage did the Astro hitters gain from the scheme? He said, I can't pinpoint what advantages or what happened to exactly what happened otherwise, but we did it to ourselves.
Well, I'm going to say right now on record, they definitely had an advantage, and I'm going to get into it. And I got a player to even that we could even look at the stats and show that this is definitely an advantage. I don't know what he's talking about.
And then of course he asked about the whole buzzer of last year, because the whole thing of not wanting to get his jersey ripped off.
Right,
Jose Altuve. It's like people said they didn't find no buzzers, but could they? Because originally the system apparently was for people on second base to relay. And then they figure out the trash can when people weren't on base at all. So, but like I said, if it feels true that he hit the TVs out of not wanting to do it, it should have sent a clear message. So if it didn't, mean players didn't take him seriously, or someone else went over his head. I don't know. And he said he's a better manager now, but previous, like how he is now compared to 2017 season. And that he does hope that he gets to be in baseball next season, because he cannot go to a game, minor league game. He cannot do nothing, scout for anyone, nothing. The only thing he can do for baseball is sit in his house and watch it.
And that's all he needs to do. He is not a better manager because of this. If he was a better manager, he would not let the players run his team.
Yeah.
If you were a manager, you're going to put a stop to this.
He felt
this
like
is your team.
The manager he was this year, he would have flat out told him no back in 2017.
I don't think so, man. You let it happen once. It's 2017. We're in 2020. What's going to make it change? So
ultimately, if it is true that he did the bat out of, like, he didn't like it, maybe one day someone will give him an opportunity. I don't know. So it's gonna be interesting. Very, very interesting. And next,
well, before we go next, I say
talk to you about that guy that he had.
Oh yeah. Well, I say put him in rookie ball, make him earn his way back to the top if he gets a chance.
Yeah.
Yeah, so back to him saying he doesn't think that it had any kind of advantages. Well, that's bull. One of the guys who came out and actually the first Astro player from 2017 team to apologize, it was Marwin Gonzalez. He says he felt regret, but let me go through this. In 2017, his batting average was .303, 23 home runs, 90 RBIs. I think he finished 19th in MVP voting that year. But prior to that year, let's start from 2012. He played for Houston all the way until last year when he played for Minnesota. His batting average was .234, .221, .277, .279, .254. Jumps up to .303 in 2017. And then when he leaves, and then the next year it's back down to .247 and .264. His home runs, 2, 4, 6, 12, 13. 2017, 23. Back down to 16 and then 15. His RBIs went from like 12 to 20s to the 30s to the 50s and then 90 in 2017. And then the next year was 68 and then last year was 55. Arguably, he had the best season of his career in 2017 when this scandal was happening on the Astros.
Well, that's very hard to say. That's very hard to disagree from, because if you have your best career of the year of the allegation year,
that's what I'm saying.
Wow.
Look at all. I would love to look at all the player stats year by year and compare them to their 2017 season. They went nutso. It's there's no denying it. I'm just right there on the paper.
I'm pretty sure he got a healthy pay raise probably after that year.
He did. Absolutely did. So I just want y'all to think about that.
I wonder how the Twins feel now. But before we go to the next subject, actually, the Astros just announced that they're going to have a press conference tomorrow morning at 9:30 in the morning with owner and manager and players.
Wow, can't wait to see that.
So they're probably gonna, give their heartfelt that we are sorry speech before they're full, because full practice starts.
Oh, it's not heartfelt. They're making them do that. If those guys felt that bad, they would have come out already and said that they were sorry.
Right? They had the chance at FanFest.
Absolutely.
So, but then the next thing with this whole scandal we had to talk about is the article from the Wall Street Journal called Code Breakers.
Yeah, Code Breakers, a.k.a. the dark arts.
So pretty much it gave more details of the MLB investigation, that actually the GM, Jeff Lunau, knew about the whole scandal. That when he said he never knew anything about this. So apparently it's from a intern that found this algorithm with that they can figure out the signs, and nicknamed it the spreadsheet the Code Maker. It's just this is just so funny. It's like, and the Astros use the Code Breaker to decode signs during home and road games, according to Diamond. The information was passed to the dugout, as Manfred described in his report, and information used by runners at second base eventually started banging on trash cans to cut out the middleman to relay the signs, even when the bases were empty. This also referred as the dark arts in an email.
Right, and it looks like all the players are trying to put the blame on Cora and Beltran. An article by Michael Hurley of the CBS Boston said, what happened was Cora and Beltran decided that the video room stuff was just not working. It was inefficient. It was too slow. So they had some lower level guy put up a monitor and they did it themselves. I mean, I feel like ever since the 2006 NLCS game 7, where Beltran just sat there and watched the last pitch go by, he probably made an oath to himself that he's going to do whatever it takes to win a World Series. And it looks like he did.
Well, it's always said that Beltran's a very smart player and figure out stuff on the field. And maybe with this whole, they've talked, well, maybe Cora talked to the intern and they figure out a faster system. Because like I said, it was Beltran's last year. He wanted a ring and he got it. And I'm just more and more glad that Mets let him go, because if this came out, like literally this came out, what was this, a couple days ago, you're talking about week of spring training starting. Mm-hmm. This would have been through everything for a whirlwind, and if Mets decided to keep him, then this came out, and then had to fire him, and then we'd probably go to intern tagging, and who knows what would happen. But
right, well, one of the members of the 2017 World Series champions, they said that they use this analogy to explain what happened. As the story claimed, some Astros players, even manager A.J. Hinch, felt powerless to stop Beltran. Another line, members of the 2017 Astros use various terms to describe Beltran: El Jefe, the Godfather, the King, the alpha male in the building. This is crazy.
It is. Like how Beltran was fighting for his job and said, I can handle this. And, well, apparently being El Jefe, he could handle it because he was alpha dog.
Well,
but
I hope he likes that nickname, because that's the only thing he's getting out of baseball now.
Well, apparently also it said what confronted Beltran about the whole thing was Brian McCann, because McCann was on the team.
Yep, he's the only one who tried to stop him.
Yeah, apparently because, where do you go if you're young and personal player in the Astro, and this guy says, we're doing this.
Right. And then so according to that, since McCann's the only one who tried to stop him, Beltran disregarded it and steamrolled everybody, according to the article.
Yeah, so if this is all true, which makes sense because he was the only player named in the report from MLB. Is this possibly why? Because he was the main person that we're doing this. He was a bench player that only got bats certain times, so he was probably the one banging on the trash can. That's a good chance. Because he was a occasional hitter for that season. He really didn't play much.
Oh, man. Check this one out, too. It also says Beltran, who played for Yankees, for a couple seasons before going to the Astros. According to multiple sources, he told the Astros that their sign-stealing methods were behind the times. It's largely irrelevant considering MLB really didn't do anything to enforce it. But come on, man. This is crazy.
It is. Like, I'm almost certain there's other stuff. We've all known it. With the whole Red Sox thing a couple years ago with, the Apple Watch, people like, oh, look. No, there's always been cheating in baseball, stuff underneath pitchers and, filing your fingertips, get a better grip on the ball, or filing the ball.
I get it.
but it felt like maybe Beltran with the Yankees and Cardinals, maybe who knows what he's done in his career. They found ways to pick something off, and maybe he did decode something, and they did a little call sign and figured tipping pitches or something. Who knows?
I mean, especially at his age. I mean, he had to have some kind of edge, like you said. When the pitchers get older, they got to find another edge to stay relevant.
Yeah,
he needed something to keep his batting alive because obviously he can't hit anymore.
No, definitely wasn't the power guy like he used to. So the whole scandal, it's not behind us yet because we're waiting for Red Sox to get their punishment for. I guess I don't think it's as big as the Astros.
As large
it's
scale,
something.
It's something.
But if this comes out with Alex Cora being so involved in Astros, anything like I understand Red Sox let him go because he might get 2 years plus, or if not, definitely suspended from the league. I don't think that, but I think at least 2 years. At least 1 year, guaranteed. Probably 2 years. It's a strong possibility. So we'll see what happens the next couple weeks. It's got to come out soon. So.
All right. Well, with that being said,
let's get into some lighter news.
Yeah. As a Mets fan, I'm very disappointed in Beltran. But also as a Mets fan, I want to talk about their new spring training renovations.
They are kind of really close. I remember a couple weeks ago when they're there for renaming the road that the single A Port St. Lucie road on to Mike Piazza. There's still so much construction work. I'm like, we're weeks away from spring training, and then I saw pictures and videos and stuff from the fantasy camp, and there was still a bunch of construction going on. Still, I'm like, spring training's close, but most of it's done now. They're still getting the stadium ready because they got like another week.
Have you seen pictures of the renovations?
Yes,
they look pretty good.
It is
Great.
gorgeous.
But my thing is, they spent $57 million on these renovations, and they're not going to allow the minor leaguers to use it. That's nuts. Yeah. I mean, I get it. You say you want them to see what they can strive to get to, but at the same time, these guys are professionals in your organization, and they should have access to these facilities. Why not let them be better players and enjoy it?
Yeah, I think they should. Like, understand that not all this money was for their box and everything. It's for the whole stadium and rebranding it and adding concession stands and stuff, but a good amount of it was for that beautiful locker room.
Absolutely beautiful.
But I honestly don't think it should just be here. I honestly think every minor league, especially from high A, double A, triple A, needs to have almost a big league locker room.
Right. These guys are already struggling to make a living as a minor leaguer.
Especially single A, when there's probably 4 guys in a 2-bedroom apartment.
Right.
And you're telling me they can't use this beautiful facility to wonder why they're here to play baseball?
Right. If I was the owner of the Mets, or whoever the new owner might be, I would say, hey, you guys are a Met. You're in the Mets organization, and we're going to treat you like family. And this is what family does. You're going to get to use our facilities because you are a Met. Make us branch them out, not like every other team.
Especially in like Port St. Louis High A, you're getting a lot of especially your international players coming over at 16 years old. Like,
right.
This is America. You're introduced like this is what you can get one day. Go have fun in your 2-bedroom apartment with 4 other people.
Right. They might want to play harder for your organization, respect the organization more. Just let them use the facility.
And just not getting like baseball altogether with minor leaguers have fair pay. Like, that's got to be fixed.
That's a whole nother discussion, but I agree.
It needs to. Like,
well, maybe they're in the middle of it because I know they're going to start.
Well, the collective bargaining agreement's in 2 years. So we got one more season after this one, and that's going to be a big discussion. And then that's the whole thing about shrinking the minor league system.
That's what I'm saying. And I don't know if I like that, but at the same time, it'll help the people who are still in organizations probably get paid some.
I understand it a little bit. Like, there's no reason for a low A, regular A, high A, golf league, short season. I think there should be single A, double A, triple A majors. They probably can shrink it some.
I mean, there is a lot of opportunity for you to get on a team.
Yes.
You're right. I mean, when you compare it to the other big sports, they don't have this. This is the hardest sport to get up to the big leagues, to get the call.
And finally, NBA has the D League. They're finally getting stuff where, like, you get drafted. They've sent some people to D League now.
I think they call it the G League now, don't they?
Something like that. But they're getting there.
Yeah.
Football's been thinking about it. They might have the XFL now.
Hey, man, I love what the XFL's been doing.
Man,
I am excited about that.
Ooh, man.
They're doing it right. They are really doing it right.
Vince got something going. Like, we'll see what happens the next couple of years. I think he found something. with that league. But that's another topic.
That is definitely another topic.
But yeah, like with this whole, like, I understand it, but to go a year not using this, like, what? Only the players when they go down to rehab gets to use that locker room?
Right, that's crazy. Or just down there for fall ball or something, or spring training. That's
Yeah,
nuts.
like,
what are you gonna do with the rest of the time?
Oh, we're gonna go to send them to rehab. Go enjoy that brand new facility.
Right, you're gonna spend
That's gonna be empty.
$57 million on it. Let people use it.
I'm pretty sure at least like $1 million or $2 million just for that locker room. But it's a little ridiculous. But let's just stay topic with the Mets. The ownership deal did fall through.
Yep, unfortunately.
But now the team is still for sale.
And there's good news with that. There's no stipulations moving forward, right?
Yes, that is correct. But this is where it's getting interesting. Okay, so last year, Forbes valued the Mets at $2.3 billion.
Okay. Well, that's crazy. The Knicks are worth 4-point-something billion.
Yeah, basketball.
Yeah.
But so the Steve deal was reportedly for 2.6. So they're getting more value than what it was for.
Okay.
So now with the whole, the bid that started, Allen and Company's going to help sell them. They actually helped sell the Buffalo Bills a couple years ago. So they're in help with that. But apparently the first price out there that Wilpons had put out, and it's mostly because of Jeff, they're asking for $3 billion for the team.
And the valuations, you said, still at 2.6?
2.3.
2.3. Oh, so they're 2.3 and they're asking for 3.
Yes.
Okay.
Because apparently the difference between Steve's deal and what they're asking is that $400 million is for Jeff to give up his control those 5 years. Yeah. And so bids started Monday.
Okay.
And guess what? They received 0 bids.
Yeah, because they're crazy.
So this is what I think also with the whole Steve deal, I think they're going to regret not taking it. Because, so yes, it's valued at 2.3. So you're asking for additional, $700 million.
Right.
But the thing is, you're going to, once you buy the team, whoever does, you're taking an annual loss of $50 million a year right out the gate. So that's why Steve was such a bargain to have, because with him being, Mets fan, he would take on that $50 million a year because he's worth $9.2 billion.
Yeah.
It's chump change for him. Like, okay. But the biggest thing why people are saying this is going to be harder to sell this team is because of the TV deal.
Okay.
So the Mets own SNY. That TV deal's run for another decade. So unlike the Dodgers, when the Dodgers were sold a couple years ago, there was no TV deal. They could buy the TV deal to get their money back to start making money. So with that, it's even harder for anyone to gain money. So it's...
Well, I got a question. Is the TV deal even worth it now? Because I feel like the Major League's going to take those restrictions off so you can watch it through the app.
Well, but also the biggest thing is because the TV deal is not coming with the Mets.
Oh.
So the money from that is staying with the Wilpons.
Oh, well, that's crazy.
That's what people are hearing. So
that can't be right. You're telling me that they're going to make the money off of the TV deal, even though they don't own the Mets?
The Mets own, so I guess the Wilpons own, I think it was, if I remember correctly, where is it? 65% of SNY.
Oh, wow.
Because apparently when the whole deals broke up, Mets got another deal. They started SNY because how Yankees and I think it was not Giants, it was a hockey team, started the Yes Network. So then when their deal is finally...
The Rangers, maybe?
I can't remember if the Rangers or the...
Islanders?
Maybe.
Okay. Well,
but in 2012 is when they started the SNY. But yeah, like they said, the stock market and everything. But yeah, they own it, so they're locked up for at least, I think, 10 more years before they can possibly. So then the new owner could work his own deal out to get money back from SNY because Wilpons will technically still own it.
Wow. Yeah, I mean, if they're going to still own that and you have to be stuck in that kind of a contract, I think that I would not pay a premium for the team. I would want a discount.
It makes it very hard to break even or make any money off the team if it's not even doing well.
All right, well, we'll keep an eye on what the Mets and the Wilpons are doing, if they're going to sell the team, if they're just going to hold on to it. I think...
I really hope they come around and ask Steve for it, but Steve's going to bulk. I don't know. We'll see what happens.
Nah, if they come back to him, he's going to want it cheaper.
He's going to probably give $2 billion and say, take it or leave it.
Right. And since they're not having any other offers, the ball's in his court. He has all the,
Like the part of yes, it's a New York team, but the finances got to make sense. I'm not going to buy a team to lose money every year and then hopefully in 10 years to finally make my money back.
Right.
Yeah, Steve is perfect because he's almost worth $10 million. Like, okay, here's 2, and I still have 8 to slowly get this team right until I can make my money back. So we'll definitely see what happens. It's the way it's looking. It's going to be a long ride, possibly to next year. We'll see what happens if any news breaks.
All right. Well, the next topic I want to talk about is we're going to circle around, talk about Jessica Mendoza again. So now it's said that she's leaving the Mets organization.
Yep.
But she's signing an extension to become the first solo woman analyst on national radio.
Yeah, it's radio and a TV deal. She's going to be, which threw me off. She's going to be the main or the analyst for weeknight games on ESPN.
That's great.
So I'm like, is she going to be the only one talking there, or they're going to bring someone else in for every certain games? But yeah, so she's going to leave her role in the Mets. So we kind of figured, because apparently not ESPN, but baseball altogether is not liking analysts who have or somewhat advisory roles with teams. So she was one. The other one is Pedro Martinez.
Okay.
Because he's technically with the Red Sox, but still an analyst for TBS. So we'll see if they kind of force his hand. But yeah, so during the weeknight games, she will definitely be the telecast for ESPN. She'll also become the first woman to serve as the World Series game analyst on the national radio.
Okay.
She joined in 2007 and has been the analyst since August 2015 on Sunday Night Baseball. So she will be leaving Sunday Night Baseball. And so...
Well, it sounds like she's leaving for bigger and better opportunities, in my opinion.
So pretty much this is what she said. She said she's always prioritized my growth, and these opportunities will allow me to expand my broadcasting career and challenge me at the same time. From calling MLB games on television and radio to exclusive studio work and features, I'm very excited that everything lies ahead. Some of my best memories have been with Sunday Night Baseball, and I will miss my time with my crew, who always been like family. I'm grateful for ESPN for continuing and committing to me, and I can't wait to see what this season gets me. So
sounds like she's going to have new memories.
Oh, yeah. And then especially she's actually going to cover the Women's College World Series.
She should.
And she's also going to be the on-site reporter because baseball and softball is back this year in the Olympics.
All right. I can't
in Tokyo.
Wait. I am excited about that.
So, and then there's rumors of who's going to replace her on Sunday Night Baseball now.
Okay.
Which I'm not too feeling about it now.
Okay.
Apparently, ESPN's been in talks with Yes Network's former Yankee and current analyst of the Yes Network, David Cohn.
Oh, okay.
So I'm like, you're telling me there's going to be an all Yankees analyst with him and A-Rod?
Yeah.
Like, I don't know if I feel about that. I know he's played for other teams, but he's been the Yes Network. It's Yankees, so he knows Yankees root. So you're gonna have A-Rod and him every Sunday night. I don't know. We'll see how it does if it does end up being him. I haven't really heard any other name.
Nobody wants to work with A-Rod. Maybe they can get J-Lo up there.
Oh Lord. But yeah, so I'm excited for her, see, because they do a few nights during the week. We'll see how she does. If, like I said, I'm assuming they have to bring someone because they're not going to have her talk by herself.
That would be weird.
So someone probably every week they'll get someone different, maybe Buster Posey, someone they'll just bring up, like have fun talk for a game. Because it's not every week they do a game. There's every here, there.
Right. Okay.
I'm happy for her. Like, we knew that if she was going to expand, she had to leave the Mets. Like, people are hearing that, and then they kicked her. Like, Dodgers kicked her out last year because technically she was with the Mets, even though she's an analyst for ESPN. But, yeah, you technically still work for the Mets, get our locker room.
Yeah, no, I agree.
So I understood that part. So,
all right.
This is the big topic.
Big topic. Yeah, we saved the best for last.
This is going to be very interesting. This came out. A lot of people disliked. I can't wait to start discussing this. But MLB are considering expanding the playoffs after the collective bargaining ends after next season. So starting possibly in 2022, expanding the playoffs to where a total of 7 teams from each conference gets into the playoffs.
Right. So by 2022, like you said, they're going to change from 5 to 7 teams per league. They would get rid of the wild card game. The first round would become the best 2 out of 3. Which I actually like that. I like a series. I don't like the one game playoff. Yeah. In baseball, I really love a series. I don't care. Definitely. 2 out of 3 is the best way to do it, in my opinion. The top seed gets a bye, and then the team with the best records would pick their opponents.
That's the only thing I felt like a little weird about it. I understand the little drama like Sunday night, like okay, let's go pick our teams.
Right, and they're making it. They want to make it like a reality show. They're gonna be like, all right, well here it is. We're gonna go pick, and I wonder who's gonna do it. Is it gonna be like the GM? Who's gonna come out there? And pick
I'm assuming it's got to be GM and the manager on like satellite.
Is it gonna be like March Madness? You're gonna take their sticker and put it next to something like what?
So almost because most of it's gonna be the last game of the season day, where all games are at least over by that evening. So later that evening. So ultimately what people are hearing is there could be no more tiebreaker games, no more playing games. There's going to be other stats where tiebreakers from regular season if there is a tie.
Okay. Well, so now they're talking about regular season.
Yeah.
My thing is, I don't know how I feel about 14 teams in the playoffs. I mean, that's basically 47% of all MLB teams are going to make the playoffs. That's half of the field. And if that's the case, does that even mean the regular season games count? I mean, I think makes them a little irrelevant.
Partially, but also I think it's going to stop teams from tanking. For example, if this rule was like it is, like 7 teams,
okay,
I almost think Red Sox would have kept Mookie Betts this year.
Okay.
Because they're looking at it like they're not a top 5 team from their league. That's what they're thinking. That's why they try to trade Mookie. But if there's a chance to get in as a 7th team, they might keep Mookie. It's very interesting.
Well, so, I don't know, man. I kind of agree with what Trevor Bauer said. He basically summed it up and said, you have absolutely no clue about baseball. You're a joke. And he's ripping Manfred about this because he said, you're the one who makes decisions, and this is crazy. So, I mean, I don't know, man. I just feel like that if half the team doesn't get in, it could eventually devalue the regular season and how the franchises operate. I mean, this is a big thing to change.
All right. Sorry about that. Someone decided to grind some metal or something behind us.
Yeah, very distracting.
So take a quick pause. But anyways, what I was about to start saying is Trevor Bauer and other people are saying like, okay, the number 1 seed gets this delay. Baseball's about consistency. Well, the thing is, these 3 prior games will be done so the number 1 seed will play Thursday like they would if they're playing games in the wildcard game. So they're really not missing much time. So I kind of like it a little bit because, like you said, it's not no more one game play in.
That's the only thing I'm really liking about this.
I do. It finally gives someone, if you have a bad night, for example, if it wasn't for that one bad mishap for the Brewers, they would have probably moved on against the Nationals. So they would, okay, you lost a game. Now you got to win the next 2 to move on. I rather definitely would do that more than playing a 1 game.
Well, my only thing is that I feel like if 47% of the teams are making the playoffs, then it's almost like everybody gets a participation trophy. I mean, who doesn't? You're going to get into playoffs. You're going to get into playoffs. I feel like if a team is going into playoffs with like a 72-89 record, come on, man.
Yeah, it's going to be very interesting. We'll see if this happens. Because, like, for example, let's break down what would happen this year in the NL. Okay, so number 1 seed, Dodgers would have got it. They would have been a bye.
Sure.
So then your next 3 teams would have been Atlanta, then Cardinals, then Nationals.
Right.
So then the other 3 teams that these players would take from would have been Brewers, Mets, and Diamondbacks. So with Dodgers getting their bye, Braves would get the first pick.
Okay, I would assume they'd pick somebody like the Diamondbacks. Maybe
I would pick the Diamondbacks
because the Mets were pretty hot in the last month or so.
Cardinals get next pick. Like you said, I'm going to face my Brewers because I do not want to face the Mets.
Are you sure they want to face the Brewers, though? Because
remember, they lost Yelich, and they passed them to get the division. Remember, Cardinals were behind them.
Milwaukee made the wild card, though, last season,
yes.
Right?
Cardinals would have picked the Brewers because they passed them to win the division and felt like they could beat them again.
Because they're in the division and they know they're evil that they're facing?
And I feel like because without Yelich, they felt like we have a shot to beat them in a 3-game series. Okay. Then that would left Mets versus Nationals.
And if that did happen in a series, the Nationals might not be the champs this year. Exactly. I'm not saying the Mets are, but I'm saying that they might not have.
Because no one would have picked the Mets because how hot they were.
Right. That's what I'm thinking.
Because how close we were finishing 3 games out. We would have ended up, and how quick it is. The 3 bottom teams do not get a game at home.
Okay.
All 3 games are at the better records field.
Right.
To speed up the game. So it'll be 1 night done. if necessary.
Okay.
So it's interesting because and especially the game show. I don't know how I feel about this because I think it should be like, okay, 2 versus 7, okay, like that. Like it should be set. But that's when like, okay, like especially if you're like the Cardinals after Atlanta picked Diamondbacks, who do you pick? We're gonna pick the Brewers. No one wants to face the Mets. Like, do I want to face DeGrom, Syndergaard, then Stroman in a 3-game series? No, thank you.
No. But another thing I do like that you're saying, if this becomes a thing, which I guess it might.
Yeah,
I like the fact that I don't like the fact that they're going to turn it into some reality show and you're going to have to pick your opponent. Yeah. However, if you do pick your opponent, they're going to be like, oh, you picked us. You think you're so much better than our team. You're going to beat us. That puts a chip on our shoulder, and we're going to show you what we got.
And especially, I like it because you give more opportunities. Because ultimately, like basketball, 8 seed is hardly ever beats the number 1 seed, and it sucks they got to go so far in basketball.
Right.
Baseball, yeah, a 79-win team can beat a 105-10 win team.
They could. But that 100-win team is going to feel super salty that they lost to a team that shouldn't have nothing to do with the playoffs at a 70-something win record, right?
I honestly feel the first couple of years it's going to be different if it does happen because they're like, I don't think we should be there. But when it gives the opportunity team that finishes 6th place and they end up going and winning the World Series, that's going to be like, see, if this didn't happen, this team would never had a shot and they would not have been World Series champions. So it definitely helps more the mid-level and lower-level, like smaller market teams because
that's fair.
Especially what the Yankees and Red Sox and Dodgers doing, like their farm systems, their money, like they have, like these are the Goliaths. And then if you get in and then somehow beat these teams, like it's going to establish when you have a chance. I think that's why I kind of like it. It gives you more like, okay, like we need, like I said, like Red Sox can think about let's keep Mookie and see what we can do. And then maybe trade them at the trade deadline because there is 7 teams that get in.
Right, and I guess another reason they want to go ahead and try to do something like that is because they feel that these changes could increase fan interest and it could benefit the MLB as a richer television rights package.
It probably could, because especially like Fox and them are about to be up,
right?
So they're going to have all these deals done. So this way it gives ESPN, Fox, and them more playoff games where they can okay. Yahoo, because streaming service eventually is going to take over, and then if they want to fix baseball, you better kill these blackouts. That's one person posted. I think they're eventually getting there because, especially when I heard about people in Vegas, I feel bad for them. They can't watch none of the California teams or Diamondbacks because of blackout restrictions.
Right.
How could you be possibly a baseball fan and try to? So you're talking about, especially out there on the West Coast. You tell me I can't watch Dodgers or Angels?
That's crazy.
Because where I live, I hate that we live where we are and I can't watch.
Can't watch the Mets play the Nationals without having to hear the freaking Nationals. I hate their
Or if I'm not near a TV, I can pull my app. Oh, sorry.
Right.
You're a blackout restriction. I'm not around TV. I can't watch it. Especially now at my work. I used to be able to watch baseball, but now we switched to a different provider. We don't get the local sports channels.
Okay.
So I'll be blocked to watch certain channels and stuff like that. So I really hope they fix it within the next year about the blackout restrictions. I understand TV deals, but come on. A lot of people don't want to watch these visiting teams because they're in that area.
Well, hey, if anybody's out there actually listening to this, the podcast and this far into it, tell us what you think about these new changes coming to the MLB. Do you think it's helping or hindering?
Yeah, definitely. So it's definitely going to be interesting because, the collective bargaining agreement does end, so they're going to want pay raises. The minor league things will be involved. A lot of stuff's going to be involved in this collective bargaining agreement. That's why some people are wondering if there's going to be a holdout or a strike. I really hope not, because that set baseball back a couple years when the first one happened back in '94.
Yeah, we don't want that to happen again.
I don't. Like, baseball's finally on that right track. They're starting to grow. I think they need to work it out. Whatever, we'll see what happens. But yeah, so it'll be very interesting when it comes up to that. But yeah, so I think that's what we got for this episode. Like we said, our next episode we'll have our top 10 outfielders. Since this one we're already 50 minutes in, talk about just this week's news. It's kind of insane.
And that's why we felt it was the need to separate.
Because this would have been a 2 hour, especially outfielder. Because our lists have to be completely different. Because
I know they are, man.
I had a hard time doing these outfielders. Like, because Because how MLB Network has it, where like this person's right field, I'm like, no, he's a left fielder. Like,
yeah, we might be off on that as well.
It's gonna be harder because like some people are gonna go this position, and so it's gonna be very interesting. So if you like this, please check out our next episode. We'll see y'all next time.
All right, guys.
All right, guys. Thank you for checking out this episode. Please share us if you enjoyed this content. Follow us on Twitter and Instagram at AA Sports Podcast. Catch y'all next week. Peace.
For the record, I'm done trying to make y'all comfortable. For the record, you ain't trying to grow, then it's done for you. For the record, lab on me going all the way. For the record, ain't trying to link, no time to waste. For the record, for the record, for the record, for the record, for the record. Been a little too nice for y'all. Now I gotta up price on y'all. Snake eyes on dice for y'all. Shoulders on ice for y'all. A6 all the hay. I won't get a ball today. Got lost in the ball and A's. I'm flipping the balls. I'm flipping the on record, off record. I still count wins when they got it.